So, as I promised, today we're going to talk about this very interesting, challenging, confusing period of time. We don't remember a moment in which the entire planet, the entire world is being so upside down, so changed, so transformed by an event like the event, the pandemic virus of the COVID. And now that we are slowly starting, also here in Italy, that has been one of the very first place where all the disease, all the virus has been exploding. Well, we are still, you know, with a lot of confusion, with a lot of question mark, with a lot of things that they need an answer, or they still need to be, let's say, located in a different way. Since the beginning of Damanhur, Falco was always talking about a moment of time, a time territory that we are crossing at this point that is very fluid. Well, many people are asking me what it means, you know, a fluid period of time. Well, fluid in this case, it means a period of time that is pretty rich of possible events, possibilities that they can happen in this fraction of time that actually is not just about a few years, but is really about many years, that they can offer us the opportunity that we've been waiting for a long time. Well, you know that the arrival of Damanhur, the arrival of Falco, the creation of the Temple of Humankind, and everything that we've been doing in these last 45 years, it's been all connected to support the creation of a new timeline, the creation of a new future, the creation of something that has never been tried before. So the chance to recreate something that otherwise it will be pretty a catastrophe. So literally everything is being based on the creation of an alternative timeline. And if you want, the arrival of Falco and the creation of Damanhur is being exactly in that moment that is also the beginning of a new age. Well, I don't have to remind you that we are in the Aquarius age, in the new age, even if probably now it's not so interesting to talk about it anymore. So that was, you know, the topic of the 70s, of the beginning of the 80s, the new era, the new age. Now nobody's talking about that. But if we are simply remember what this new age has been announcing, well, we are matching perfectly what is going on now. The Aquarius age after the Pisces age, because you know that these are following rhythm that are at the opposite direction of the astrological signs. Well, they've been announcing this area, this age, so the next 2000 years, like the age of the spirituality, the age in which there's going to be the reawakening of forces, of energy, of divine forces that are connecting to what we call the community, what we call spirituality, what we call the others. Instead of an age, the Pisces age, it was the age of the matter, the age in which the object, the forms, the things, they've been much more important. The age in which the individuality, the singularity, is been, let's say, the main element of the past 2000 years. But as I say many times, well, the beginning of an age, it's a long process, and it's also a process that is in reach of many transformation, many possible transformation, many revolution. And if the beginning of this new age is being at the beginning of the 70s, well, you know, I'm from 1970, so I just crossed my 50, and let's say I'm ready for my second part of life. But 50 years connected to 2000, well, it's really almost nothing. It's just the beginning of the beginning. But already in this beginning of the beginning, we notice we already been crossing many different important transformation, many different things that they've been already changed in our way of living. I can mention several events that they've been this acceleration, from the creation of internet to the falling of the wall in Berlin, to other events, the crisis of 2008 of the financial market. So many events that they've been already shaking many of our paradigms, many of the values, many of the way of thinking that is being the base of our society, of our way of living, of our way of following what are the beliefs that we've been learning all along our lives. So already element that they've been shaking deeply, but if we are entering in a new age, we are entering literally in a new paradigm, well, we need something more. We need something that can really shake even deeper the consciousness of people, of many people, not just about few, but really something that can radically change the belief system of, I don't want to say the majority of the human beings, but at least to numbers of people that they can really then bring a change in the planet. Because, well, it might be obvious to say that we cannot change anything. We cannot change the world if we're not changing ourselves. So we need first to start from us. We need to start from who you are, what you believe, how you want to act in life, which is your mission, which is the reason why you're back. What you want really to act in this life that is really according to what are your values, really love. So, and studying the history of the humankind, there's not so many, let's say, events able really to make change, to make, let's say, a shift in the way of thinking of people. Well, I can announce some of them, but don't be scared, obviously. Well, number one, we have wars. You know, our memory can immediately be linked to the first of the Second World War, in which a large numbers of people, they've been involved in something that has been a catastrophe. It's been a destruction, but it's been also a destruction of that politics, of that way of thinking, of that reality that has been leading different countries for a long time. So in a certain way, you destroy to then rebuild. Okay, so you destroy to recreate. And this is actually also a system that, economically speaking, is being used a lot. So not very pleasant. Another situation, another events that we can find all along the history, it's again not very nice, and are the catastrophes. I mean, the huge, big planetary catastrophe could be the falling of an asteroid, and then the memory can come back immediately to Atlantis, or, you know, a physical disaster created by volcanoes or by earthquakes, and etc. So something that is deeply touching the life, destroying the life of many people. And again, you destroy to recreate. Other kind of big transformation in the way of thinking, in the way of acting, in the paradigm of people that luckily are a little bit more pleasant, well, are connecting to technology. Yes, when some kind of technology, they being finally discovered or introduced into the humankind, well, these they been, you know, a big shift in the life of billions of people. Let's just imagine the electricity when it's been discovered and then it's been, you know, brought all over the world, and how this is been completely changing our way of living. I mentioned before internet and the computers. So today it's impossible to imagine to live without this connection with everything and everyone all the time, constantly. So here we are in this time of transition, this fluid time that is being literally, let's say, rich of many different possibility to change, to make an acceleration, to change this paradigm. And at the same time, we know that in an old timeline, a timeline in which we don't even know if we are existing anymore, a timeline where definitely Damanhur is not existing, not even this evening is existing. So in that timeline, things are not doing good. And this transformation is actually really a distraction. But this is a long topic, and we're going to talk in one of our evenings together. And some of you definitely, they've been also participating in some of my seminars about the Damanhur seminar. So many of you knows what I'm talking about. Is literally the project of the 600 years in the future. Is the project that we call in our sacred language with the name Vaine. So the individuals, the souls that they've been coming back in this life for this project to give a new chance to this planet, a new future, creating a new timeline. So literally a future that we are living moment after moment, day by day, to give a possible chance, but a possible chance that will succeed only if we're going to last this new timeline for at least the next 600 years, or I would say 593 years in the future, to be really, really precise. So we need something, or in any case, that we need it or not, this time is being designed to offer us a lot of this possibility. So a lot of possibility to make a real change, substantial change. Events that possibly are not going to be too dramatic, to help everyone, or at least a numbers enough of individual to then make the change, to then make the revolution, to then make the shifting from one way of thinking to another way of thinking, to one paradigm to another kind of paradigm. And here we are. So some of us, we was thinking about 2012, like, oh my goodness, is the end of the world. The Mayas, they've been announcing that everything is going to stop. And then we're still here. No end of the world. But even the Mayas, they was talking not so much about the physical ending of the world, but literally about an ending of way of thinking. And now, today, I was just reading some of these jokes that on internet they are creating about all the coronavirus, and in these funny things there was the description of the fact that was a joke. They was not talking the Mayas about 2012. Cuckoo, it's about 2020. But I mean, besides this joke, there's been many different announcements of these kind of events. Now, I know that for many of us, this coronavirus, this pandemic situation, has been also very difficult. It's been tough. It's been also dramatic because we lost friends. We lost people that they've been very close to us. We see a lot of people suffering. We see the dramatic images from hospital, from intense care. And we saw not only the dangers of this invisible virus, but also the suffering of so many people all over the planet. Even in Damanhur, we also been touched by the COVID. Some of us, they've been, positive to the virus. And in this case, living in community has been a great blessing to contain and to guide all of this situation. But we also lost two dear friends, two elders of Damanhur that already sick for other disease, they've been passed away for the COVID. So I'm not talking about something that obviously is just, a Pacific walking in the woods. No, this is something that is shaking literally the fears, the insecurity, the suffer of people. So it is something extremely serious. But at the same time, we also know that we need something to really shake the consciousness of people. We need something to create that element that in Damanhur, in our spiritual physics, it's very important as a motivation, as an encouragement to change. That is called the crisis. Yes, in this case, we see crisis always as opportunity to change, opportunity to make a shift. Yes, of course, you might don't have the same ideas, because it's not nice to be in crisis. It's not nice to be in an uncomfortable zone. But at the same time, we have to imagine that crises are exactly that kind of situation in which we want to change. We really are open to change the things because we don't feel good, because we don't feel fine, because we feel a discomfort in what we're living in that moment. So crises are elements that we need to cross to find a new strength, to find a new way to live the same life or a completely different life with completely different elements. So we need something that can really shake enough our consciousness that is also probably passing through that fears, that insecurity, that weak part of us, to then be able to find the strength to realize what is true and what is not true. Let me explain a little bit better. Sometimes I call the COVID situation the sofa revolution. I don't know if you like this idea, but sofa revolution, because like probably you've been forced, we've been, in the lockdown, stay in our homes, in our, comfortable sofa, is just a metaphor, obviously. And from our comfortable houses, connecting to everything, everyone, we've been able to at least enjoy or force to do at least a couple of things. Number one is really enjoying the moment. In this case, I can just give you my example, because when at the beginning of March in Italy, the lockdown has been started all of a sudden, and we've been forced to be for more than 2 months, I would say almost 3 months, closed in our houses. Well, for me, as a traveler, I'm traveling very much. I'm pretty a workaholic, so I never stop traveling here, traveling there. Stay for 3 months at home. Well, I could not even remember when it was the last time. And as a traveler, be, in my room or in my family nucleus here in Damanhur, even if it was so beautiful to stay with all my brothers and sisters, it's been forcing me a lot. To do what? Well, to enjoy something that I enjoy in a different way, but that definitely is being, part of my meditation. Living the present, stay in the moment after moment, hours after hours, day after day. So I've been really forced to enjoy back and to be fully connected to what I was living in the now. And as you know, this is one of the basic teaching of all the spiritual path. Everyone is telling you, forget about the future, forget about the past, stay here, stay into the now, stay present in the moment. And we know that we are not very trained in this, because our tendency, our mind, is always trying to project, or in, how the things are going to be if I'm going to do that, or if this is going to happen, etc., etc. Or to remember how good time it was when I was living there, I was with that person, I was in that situation, or how beautiful it was the past. So the human tendency, or at least the tendency of the way of living of our Western society, it is very much always connecting to past or future. Beside the fact that, again, past and future, they might be only prospective, time-wise, we are completely losing the fact that all our power, but also all the possibilities are in the here and now. Is that element that in spiritual physics we call of the infinity possibility. The fact that in every moment, a moment that we define in 4 seconds, we always have 6 different possibilities that are going to be created. And when we're going to choose one of them, other 6 that are going to be created, etc., etc., etc. So technically speaking, it's just to tell you that we are always all the possibility in front of us if we are still being able to live the moment. So I've been forced, and I saw many of other of my friends, of my people here in Damanhur, very much be forced to be back in enjoy, but it also into value the present, because it's impossible. It's impossible to plan the future. I cannot even plan now a trip because I don't even know if I'm going to travel or not. I cannot plan the future, the work that is not there, etc., etc. Yes, I can still project myself into the past, but to tell you the truth, this is not so much fun. So I really enjoy much more stay here, stay in the moment, not only stay in Damanhur, but really stay in what I was living moment after moment. The other element that I would say, it is another strong training for everyone. It is really about the truth. Yes, because the belief system, it's all based on what is the truth for us. The truth, it's not one truth. As Falco was reminding us very often, it's like a crystal. It's a crystal with many different faces. And it depends on which face you are looking for that you're going to define the truth. The truth is yours. It's really about what you believe about things. Is that topic that often we call the perception of the reality. And very often when I'm introducing this topic, I'm asking to the people, is the reality objective or subjective? And at the end, we all agree on the fact that the reality is subjective. Yes, the things around us, they means the same, as the shape of the crystal is the same for everyone, but then there is a different perception of this reality. And this reality is going to be perceived based on my way of thinking, based on my previous experience, based on my belief system. So the same event could be fantastic for me, could be a disaster for another person. Is it not true? Two teams are playing, two football team are playing. At the end, one is losing, one is winning. Well, for me that I'm connect to the team that is winning, great. For the other one, that is the team that is been losing, it's not great at all, but it's the same exact event. Now, obviously, I can give you many more examples, but this is not really needed so much today. So this truth, the truth that I believe is my truth, it's something directly connecting to my values, my belief system. What is true at this point? Many people, they've been forced in their homes, in their situation, also in their suffering, to reevaluate what is true for them and what is not truth. What I really need and what I really don't need. Do I need to go out every evening and drink and, and lose my consciousness, or I need my family, I need my friends, I need the warmth of someone that is telling me something nice and beautiful? Do I really need to go and spend so much money in changing my clothes every day and go for shopping for hours and etc.? Or I need much more to eat healthy food and to be in an environment that is really full of art, of elements that are nourishing also my soul? Do I really need to stay in front of the TV all the day or see Netflix for hours and hours? Or maybe I need to stay in contact with myself and meditate and discover new possibility to find out who I am and the many different possibilities that I have inside? Well, these are just obviously examples, but many people, they've been forced back in this lockdown to really find out what they really want in life, what is really important in their life, what is true and what is not true. This has been already happening in another crisis, 2008, financial crisis. Well, to tell you the truth, we are going straight to another huge crisis just in the next few months. So be ready, my friend, because September, October is going to be a very intense moment, because this is not a crisis anymore about financial, about money. This is really about the economy. This is about the work. This is really about, you know, what make valuable the time of people. So without anticipating anything. So if you remember in 2008, all the financial crisis was touching directly the biggest tsunami that we can affront. That is the money. Because it's not about the money in terms of zero that we have in a bank account, but it's about the values that we are connecting to money. The values that we've been learning in our society to connect to money. Money is security. Money is freedom. Money is power. Money is the possibility to do what I want. The money is the possibility to go out and go on vacation. The money is, you know, the future. The money is, you know, my son and daughters. Money is many things. Just brought your attention for a moment into this element of money. This is not about to be rich or to be poor, but this is about what we stick, what we connect to the money. So when people, all of a sudden, they've been losing their money, so they're not just losing some zero in the bank account or some green paper things in their pocket. It's really about what I connect, what I'm going to lose, because I believe that I'm going to lose my freedom, that I'm going to lose my power, that I'm going to lose my family, etc., etc., etc. So again, a shake into the belief system. Did we learn something from the crisis of 2008? Well, I have to be diplomatic. For sure, many people, they've been able to change their life and to shift their way of thinking. Maybe others, they didn't do that. Not completely. That's the reason why now we have another little help. COVID. Here we are. Another little help. So another event that, of course, it's dramatic. Of course, it's full of pain and suffer. But, my friend, just imagine if we was in a war, or if we was, you know, in a dramatic catastrophe, it would be much worse. So sitting in our comfortable homes, we can do this revolution. We can start this revolution. We can start this shifting of this paradigm just from inside of us, and without the dramatic situation of some other events they can create. So we are going to succeed. We're going to learn from this. We're going then to come out and transform our society. Well, we can say, let's live and learn. Let's live and see. I don't know. I can tell you, I'm excited. I'm very excited. You know why? Because in me, it's clear, I'm sure, that we cannot live in the same way. That we cannot live in the same exactly way of thinking, in the same exactly paradigm that we've been living before. No, I'm totally sure of this. So I'm excited. Of course, I'm also anxious, you know, about my job, Damanhur, the money, and everything. Like you, I mean, I'm not so different than you. But in this case, I'm excited because I'm excited to see what is going to be next, what the future is going to offer us, what this movement, what this shifting is going really to transform our way of living. Because I don't feel myself the same. After 3 months of this lockdown, I don't feel the same. I'm not the same person. I'm not the same person that is thinking at the same. Yes, I'm still Crótalo Sésamo, officially, and talking to you, but inside something has been changing, and I know that when this change is happening inside of me, this change is going to manifest. But this is not just about me. I didn't get sick and stay in my bed for 3 months. No, this is really a change of the planet. This is a change that is still going on because we are far from normality. My friend, the normality is simply spend your money for the holiday. So we're gonna be free now to spend what is still left, to go in vacation, to go out, to forget about everything, to start to pretend that nothing has been happening. No, this is just a pause in the middle of something that is going to follow us, at least for this entire 2020. And who knows, maybe it's going to follow us for much longer, because this is just the beginning of this process of transformation. Now, the point, one of the different points, it's also connected to what? It's connecting to our free will. Yep, our choices. You know, in spiritual physics, in Damanhur, we are talking a lot about the free will. The last divine power, the only power that can allow us to really make a change. That's it. So it's only through our choices that we can transform ourselves or not. We can choose to transform or just to stay the same. So obviously, even if this time it's forcing us, even if this fluid time territory that we're living, it's bringing so many incredible opportunity. And as I told you, even this pandemic situation is an opportunity. Yes, could be a tragedy in other hands, but I still see an opportunity for all of us, for the entire planet, to make this change. We still have a little problem, just one, just one little. And this problem is really about us. It's about our choices. Are we gonna use all these opportunity to change? Or this is just going to be another of these events to be exactly the same? Okay, don't answer me. And I'm sure that here, all of us, we're here to change. Yes. But at the same exactly moment, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that these opportunities are going to change the mentality, the values, the belief system of people. This is not a guarantee that we want them to change our society, that we want a world that is going to be different from the one that we've been living now. And it's not just about, again, money and economy. This is really about equality. This is really about respect. This is about much more. I don't have to mention what is happening in these days in Minneapolis, because it's a tragedy into the tragedy. But the violence that is connected is also a violence of a need of change, of a need of something that need to be brought in a different way. And this is just one of the main examples of many little and important events that are happening every single day. So there is this need, but how this need, how this possibility to change is going to be guided, well, this is all in our hands, my friend. That's the reason why when I've been teaching some of these evening, I already start in other country to have, you know, this talk every week, and then also add some longer guided meditation, because there's really a need for many of us to have a really deep work inside, but also we need guidance, we need help, we need support. We need something that I'm asking you, and obviously I'm asking to you myself, that is example. So in this moment, we need to be all spiritual seeker, all people that they know a little bit more about the meaning of what is going on. We need to be example for the others. We need, with our action, with our way of thinking, our way of talking, our way of doing the things, we need to be example for others. It's in this moment that we need to, in a certain way, to demonstrate that we are different, but not because we have to be better than others, but because knowing things give us more responsibility. I've been telling you these things in all my classes. Knowledge, knowing, brings not only more power into your life, into the power of creation that we all have, but it's also bringing responsibility. Because when I know something, I need to feel that I'm responsible, not only for me, but also for who doesn't know yet. I know that my actions are going to be more intense, more concrete, because knowing it gives me the strength, that energy, that synchronicity that is going to affect not only my life, but also the life of many, many other people. So it's in this moment that we need to bring this message, that we need to bring this element to others, that we need to bring what spirituality has been telling us for thousands and thousands of years, the power of being here to change, to transform. And when these events are so collective, are so huge that are connecting the entire world, well, we cannot see that these are appointments, that they've been programmed into time. Yes, being here in this life, in this moment, it's an appointment that we all agree to be inside. We all agree to be here in this unique, incredible, fantastic, and also challenging period of time, in this fluid time territory. Why? Because that we believe it or not, that we imagine that it's true or not, we are the souls, we are the generations that they've been brought back in this life to be here now, to embody, to be the one, the pioneer that are going to arrive from a way of living and thinking to then change to a new way of thinking and a new way of living. We are in a transitional time that is pretty unique. That is literally, as I said before, the time of the pioneers, the time of the souls that they have that element inside, that characteristic that are going to make this happen, preparing this planet for the many generations that are coming. And you know that this is also very much connecting to the fact that this planet for a long time, it was a planet that was not free. Well, this is a long story that some of you already knows about the synchronic lines. Briefly, the synchronic lines in our spiritual path are the main energy lines of the planet, the energetic net that is surrounding the planet Earth, and from the poles of the planet are creating two spirals that are expanding themselves all over in the cosmos. The synchronic lines, 9 vertically, 9 horizontally, are extremely important to sign the meridians of the planet, the most strategic, energetic point of the planet. That's the reason why, again, studying the history of the humankind, temples, important civilization, they've been always located, created in this crossing point. Crossing point that are not always the same all along the history because they're moving slowly, but they are moving. Now, the synchronic lines are also called the lifelines. Why? Because they are not just the highways of the vital energy, of the dreams, of the intuition, of the knowledge of the planet. But the synchronic lines are also from where we are coming from. Yes, our souls, they are entering in this planet from the synchronic lines. And they're going to leave this planet, and we're going to die from the synchronic lines. Mostly in that very important moment, in that very important ritual, the most important ritual all along the year, that is the ritual that soon we are going to celebrate here in Damanhur and also in many other places of the world. I'm talking about the summer solstice, the moment in which these synchronic lines in a certain way, they are opening or they are pulsating in a way in which we are sending energies, messages from that planet to the entire cosmos, and from the cosmos, we are receiving messages, presence, forces from all over the cosmos. It's in that moment that the synchronic lines are welcoming the new souls and they're letting the souls to leave the planet Earth. As I said, some of you knows from other classes that these lines, for a long time, for a very long time, for many different reasons that I'm not going to mention now, just because we don't have time enough, they've been closed. Yes, closed, it means that, yes, the same souls, they've been, incarnated in the planet over and over and over again. That means that in terms of evolution, we've been slowed down for a long, long time. One of the many important magical operations, the Damanhur, and many of, let's say, the partners of this alliance. Damanhur is just, the peak of the mountain. We are not alone in what we're doing. There are individual groups, energies, forces, intelligence, that they've been participating. They are working for the evolution of the planet Earth. So one of the many important magical operations that we did was literally to, in a certain way, make free again the synchronic lines from forces that we call enemy forces, forces that are against evolution. So, and the end of this long operation is being complete in 1999. So from 1999, we can finally imagine that these synchronic lines, the synchronic lines of the planet Earth, are completely open again. They are free again. So what does it mean? It means that from the time, and obviously also before, because imagine piece of the lines that they've been opening more and more all along this operation, a new generation of souls, they've been arriving here on the planet. Souls that for who knows how many thousands of years they could not come back, or maybe souls that are coming for the first time. Generation of souls, very similar to what we also call the indigo child. So child definitely with another gear, with another acceleration, with another approach to technology, with other ideas and so on. So the generation of the new leaders of this planet, generation that are thinking different than us, because they are already coming from something else. And even if I said it is extremely sadly to see how many old people, in Italy it's been literally a tragedy, how many elders they've been passed for the COVID, the weak one, but also, the memory of many of the history that we've been living in these last years. Many of them, they've been passing through the COVID. But in another way, I can also see an entire generation of souls that they've been living their life. They've been accomplished or not their mission. And they've been ready to accelerate in a sort of way of shifting in the arriving of new souls and the leaving of souls that they've been, let's say, ending their lives. But their life is also means to ending a sort of way of thinking, a sort of way of leading the life of themselves and also the life of many other people. We are still in a planet in which the majority of the leaders of the world are people pretty old. I mean, nothing against them, but for sure they are still representing a mentality, a way of thinking that is pretty an old one. It's time also to give us an acceleration in the new generation, in the new way of thinking. We need to prepare this planet to who is going to lead this planet where now we cannot even imagine. So there are many elements that obviously as you can see, we can see in the both way. One maybe not very positive, but another one that can give us also a lot of hope for the future. But don't forget that this hope for the future, it's completely, entirely in our hands, because this is just the beginning of a big shifting. As I said, now we might have, a little break, but in few months, we're going to be back. Economically speaking, there are entire sectors of all technology that they are definitely in crisis. Let me just give you an example. You know that Italy, it's a really well known for the cars, you know, Fiat, Ferrari, Lancia, Maserati, etc., etc. And let me just share with you my thoughts about it, because for 3 months here, the selling of the car was, if not zero, very close to zero, 10%, 20%, that's it. So the automotives are industry that they've been last for more than 120 years. That admit that at the end, they didn't change so much. These are old technology. Yes, of course, they changed their design and blah, 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 but I mean, at the end, they're still 4 wheels and that's it. And they are still connecting to the oil that is big ruler of the equilibrium between country, of the economic power of the world. So do you think that now people, they are running to buy cars? Don't think so. Because as I said, in this shock, people are really starting to take care about what they really need and what they really don't need. Do they need, another car? Do they need to spend money on something that is completely waste? I don't think so. So I think that soon there's going to be a shake in this industry, a big shake. Maybe many of these companies, they are going to merge because they cannot sustain themselves. But probably they cannot even sustain that kind of technology anymore. Yes, of course, many of them, they've been already transformed into electrical. But I'm supposing and I'm hoping for something that is going to be even more intense. A shifting in technology that they are ready, but they are still not being introduced. So I'm expecting that the collapse of some of these industry that are finally going to open opportunity that we deserve. But we deserve because now we are ready for that. Because now we don't want to sell, to buy a car. We don't want to spend money on something that is without any sense. So this is probably the time in which we're going to be ready to something that is going to be different. And this is just an example, but I'm sure that you can bring me many other examples. But what we have to do is really the day by day, the moment of the moment, the fact that this is just the beginning and not at the end of a nightmare, but the beginning of this big shift, of this big transformation in which all of us, we have a very important roles. Now, I've been sharing with you many things, and I like also to introduce a couple of other elements that are still very much connected to our, let's say, spiritual, esoteric, Damanhurian path. Because in other hands, is not only the fears and the suffering, but I'm sure that you've been observed, as I've been observing in this month, the reawakening of the nature. The winner of all this period of time is been the nature. Thing that is starting to reborn. We see, birds. We see waters that are becoming clean. We saw the nature coming back. That, in other hands, it's a beautiful acceleration of something that our country, they promised to do in terms of reduction of the pollution, but they never did. So we never had the air so breathable, so full of oxygen, because people was not using the car, and not using the car, it was not polluting, etc., etc. Something that for us is also extremely interesting, connecting to the reawakening of some of the forces that I've been announcing when I was talking about the new age, the new era, the Aquarius era. Also the age in which, important forces, they've been reawakening. In Damanhur, we talk at least about 3 of them that are very important. And one of them is also connecting to the nature, the force that we call Pan. Yes, the Pan that in the mythology is being represented with this man that is half human and half a goat, that is representing the force of the nature. A divinity, a divine forces reawaken it around the 1988, but that they still need, let's say, a little bit more time to complete this reawakening, more or less 33 years. So as you probably can do the calculation, 2021, next year, is going to be the completion of this reawakening of these forces connected to the nature. As the principle of the feminine power is being reawakened between the 1983 and 1984, and exactly 33 years after, 2017, many operations, many rituals have been done to complete the reawakening of the forces that is going to be crucial for the next evolution of the humankind. So definitely, I'm sure that all of you, you've been observing how amazing the nature is being literally reconquering space where finally the human, they was stepping back. The other two elements that I like to introduce, and then there's going to be other moment to talk about it. As you saw, we have, a series of talking during this month. And to tell you the truth, I've been already preparing other 3 months with you, so no worries. There's going to be a lot of topics to discuss together, to discover together. But the other two elements that I like, at least to give you, to tease you a little bit, it's again about time, the structure of time, and the fact that this time is structured in packages. Yes, I know, maybe for some of you, it's a little technical. For others, there's some bells that is ringing. Packages of times, like containers of events, everything that is going on, Now, without being too technical, there is a very unique moment. That is when a time package is finished and a new one is going to be created. Normally, this time package, they last 66 years, but in some particular moment of time, they could be also shorter. Well, as you probably can imagine, the one that we're living, it's definitely much shorter. And the time between the ending of one and the beginning of another one lasts more or less 3 to 4 years. This is what we call technically point of divine attention. Okay, I'm not going to enter now, sorry, otherwise too long. But in these 3-4 years, extremely extraordinary events, they can happen. Why? Because we are in a sort of way under the view, the attention of forces. Doesn't matter how we want to call them, divinity or not. Enormous, powerful forces that in that moment, they are bringing their attention, their strength into that very particular period of time. Well, what we are living is probably just the beginning of the ending of these old packages and the beginning of new one. So we are in these 3-4 years that are going to be extremely unique, extremely rare, extremely powerful, extremely rich of possibilities. Possibilities that, as usual, don't forget, we can use or not. It depends to our free will. We're going to talk about that. So, but I just wanted to tease you a little bit, or at least to introduce one topic that could be interesting for us to go deeper. The other element that I like to introduce is also not only an element, but also something that probably we need to face and also to work with this. That is about the astral plane. Yes, in spiritual physics, we call the aura of the matter the threshold. Threshold is what we call also the dimension, the astral plane, the invisible, the beyond. So this literally aura of the matter, so based on vibration, on frequencies, that in this case are the place, is the place of information. Every information is being located, the Akasha records, the library of knowledge, etc. and etc. Now, in the threshold, there are also the product of our thoughts. Who has been joining the classes of astro traveling with me probably remember what we call the thoughts forms that are literally the product of our thoughts. Product of thoughts that obviously they could be individually, but they are much more intense, much more stronger when we talk about collective thoughts. So we can imagine that in this period of time, many thoughts, they've been created by the humans, unconsciously thoughts, mostly connected to the uncertainty, the fear, the pain, the suffering of people. So this is not only something that physically is affecting us, but also on the astral plane is affecting. It's like a vibration that unfortunately is being created and is still affecting in a certain way. People that are sensitive, people that they are naturally channeler or medium, they can feel that and they could be bothered a lot about that. They could be under the effect of this. So it's really needed to do operation, to do action, to in a certain way, to clean, to operate, to let these thoughts go. Thoughts that unfortunately, they are very much connecting to the enemy. That enemy force that I've been mentioned briefly before, that is everything against evolution, that is everything against this change, this transformation that we want to do. So something that is affecting the humans to stop the humans to this change, to block the change, to interrupt the change. So something that is going to be very important, not only to be aware, because I'm sure that sometimes you might feel thoughts in you that it doesn't belong to you. You have feelings that doesn't belong to you. You feel things that you don't even know from where they're coming from. And this is because there's been this sort of vibration, this sort of disturbing frequencies that from the threshold is really affecting us. So this is the moment in which, as spiritual seeker, we need to act also, not only through our action, intention, and thoughts, but also doing things to change this vibration that is bothering the entire planet. But again, we're gonna talk also about that. Now, I see that the first hours, it's been flying together. As you know, the evening are, well, the evening, for me is evening, for you is morning, but the talking together are divided in these first hours of talking. Then I'm opening about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of questions. And I know that Jennifer will help me at least read the question that you can write into the chat. And then we're going to complete our meeting with a guided meditation that are going to set everything together. So I would say that I'm opening officially the moment of the questions. If obviously there are questions, otherwise I'm gonna go straight to my meditation.
Beautiful, thank you, Crótalo. So if people would like to write questions in the chat, or they can also raise their hand, we can try that. If you know how to raise your hand, either way, I will monitor. Alessandro is asking, Crótalo, can you give more of these changes to come in 3 to 4 months?
Ooh, but we're gonna lose, you know, the surprise of all of these. Well, I've been mentioned already some of these changes that are definitely connected to, well, let's talk a little bit different. So I talked briefly about economy, and economy for sure is on the top of the list, because it doesn't matter that the stock market, it seems to, you know, to be fine, and the stocks, they're going great and etc. It's all fake. You know that this is not true. When the real numbers, they're going to come back to the market, they're going to come back to all of us, and many companies, they're going to close, and many other people, they are going to be fired. Imagine that, for example, in Europe, no one could fire anyone, at least until June. There was a law from the government. So imagine between June and September what can happen in the real economy, and on the fact that the entire system that is based on economy is going probably to collapse, or at least partially is going to collapse. This is one. But I would say that there are two other important topics that are really, really in the border, which are, well, one, it's definitely about the freedom, the personal freedom. We cannot deny the fact that we've been all touched in our personal freedom. We've been in prison. It's a house prison, but it's a prison. We couldn't go out, we couldn't do anything, and etc. So how of this freedom is going to be touched more? How people are going to accept to lose more of their freedom, just not to be, bothered completely. I'm talking about vaccination. I'm talking about tracking, your movement. I'm talking about everything that is going to limit our freedom. So it's not about the mask. I mean, for me, it's pretty strange to see people that are manifesting again, using the mask, because this is actually a protection, not for you, but this is a respect to the others, because you are not going to contaminate others. But there are many other elements that are very scary. So we have to see how individuals are going to rebel to something like that or not. So I would say that these are some of the topics that probably we are going to see. That can also be, let's say, the ending of a way of using some technology, and possibly also the opening of new technology. Another question?
From Vesla, we have, how can we be an example for others?
Well, the example, is always based on your behavior, on your modality, in your way of thinking, your way to communicate, in your thoughts, in your vibration. So I'm not telling you that you have to go and manifest against something or someone. Maybe there's going to be the moment to do that. Hopefully, maybe not now. But mostly is really to be positive, to bring, this energy of transformation, this positivity, this awareness on the fact that we are living an amazing moment, a moment that maybe we've been waiting for such a long time. So this is what others, they need. So they need us as example to feel that, wow, but there is someone that, is different, that is living this with so much good thoughts and energy, that why I have to be so depressed, why I have to be so concerned. So little things, but important. Gentleness was an element that Falco was always bringing, like an incredible power of transformation. So be gentle with the others. That will already be a wonderful example.
Thank you. We have a question from Rob. Everyone perceives differently, yet all external perceptions are distorted. Only inner senses can open the fuller perception of what is. Comment, please.
Well, inner senses, as you know, it's one of the topic of our talk. So in this case, I would say that what we need is to integrate all our senses. The inner senses that definitely are the one that are brought to inside, but also our external senses. So is in the integration of all of them, then we get the strength to act differently, to move differently, to do things differently. So in this case, again, don't fall in the idea of separating the things, but always to unite the things.
That's the last question. Is there any other questions? Alessandro has a question.
Crótalo, I have heard you say in the past that we are in this new timeline that's been created under the shadow of the old timeline. So are we going through a period where we are right now under a shadow of something that might have happened on the old timeline that could affect? I'm just curious if there's anything like that.
Well, it's a good question that helped me to clarify the terms shadows. So it's not that we are under the shadows of the old timeline. No, we are creating something completely new, fresh, and in a certain way clean. But it's true that sometimes we have shadows effect. Which are shadows effect? So effects, so events that are so strongly, I would say badly, in the old timeline that there is a sort of shadows effect. So shadows effect, for example, they are in the history that we already know in this new timeline. 1986, the explosion of the nuclear center of Chernobyl. Chernobyl is being a shadows effect of a huge nuclear explosion, several nuclear explosions that we know in the old time that this has been happening. 2011, if I remember correctly, Fukushima. The same events of Fukushima where in Japan there's been, you know, this fallout of nuclear energy is being again another shadows effect of what is been happening in the old timeline. So not be under the shadow, but sometimes we have shadows effect of what is being created on the other side. I would say that we have time for one, maybe two more questions.
So this is from Duncan. A fellow Damanhurian mentioned recently a quote from Gandhi's grandmother, who said, "We need to first focus on our duty to humanity and then to our rights." Given this provocative statement, if you believe it, what is our duty to humanity?
It's a beautiful question and a beautiful way to say. Well, our duty as the generation that are the pioneer generation is to be able to shift a way of living in another way of living. Our duty is to transform our life for the new generation that are arriving now for a new world.
And another question from Karen. Why are there only 6 possibilities in a moment?
This is a good question. And this is about numbers and the different, let's say, language of the numbers. Why 4 seconds? Why 6 events? Why 18 synchronic lines? Why now 9 primeval divinities? So when we're gonna enter into the language of numbers, well, I will be able to express more all these different sequences.
And that was the last question.
Bene. So if it's the last questions, my friend, now is the time for our meditation together. So I'm sure you already have your eyes closed. And all your attention is now on your body. You just observe your body. And you start from your head. While you are observing all the different parts of your head, of your body, you're relaxing. You're relaxing everything. First are the little muscles of your forehead, of your eyes, of your cheeks, of your nose, of your ears, of your mouth. Your thumbs. And if you need, you can move this part of your body to help them to relax. Now you go down to your neck, into your shoulders. You can move your neck and your shoulders in every possible way to relax. Move clockwise, anti-clockwise, right, left, up, down, like this. And then you go down to your arms, to your hands. Open and close your hands. Imagine to let go your tension in your fingers. Here is only my voice and the sound. And you relax your chest, your stomach, your spine, your back, go to your hips, your legs, knees, down to your feet. And if you can, try to open and close your feet. Move them. Imagine to let go the last tensions from your feet. Very good. Very good. And now your attention is moving on your breath. Observe your breathing while you inhale and while you exhale. Observing the air coming in and out from your body naturally, spontaneously. Now it's time to change your breath, change yourself. You start to inhale from your nose and to exhale with your mouth well open. A rhythm that is deep and slow. And when you inhale, imagine to bring new energy, new strength inside of yourself. And when you exhale, imagine to let go all your fixed thoughts, all your tensions. And you continue breathing this way just for a little bit more. It is the belly. It's always moving first while you inhale, while you exhale. Like this. The rhythm that is deep and slow. Very good. Now let your breathing free. Free. And observe. Observe for a moment. What is changed? What is different? After this simple breathing, inside of you, you can see, you can feel a light, a little light, right in the center of you. Go to this light, to the center of yourself, wherever you feel it is your center. Little light is pulsating. It's calling you. And when you are in this point, you are this light. And why the center of you? Bring one or both of your hands, touch this point in the center of you. And take a deep breath in the center. This is the light of your soul, is the light of your divine spark. And now, slowly, expand this light, make this light bigger. Bigger and bigger. Bigger than your chest. Bigger than this body. Bigger than your aura. Bigger than your room. Bigger than your house. Expand your light more and more until you're gonna connect with the light of all of you, all over the world, It's your light that is expanding in this entire planet. The energy of the soul, the energy of your divine source, energy that is light, a light for you, for the other, for the planet. Like this. Like this. Expand your light. Good. Very good. You are the light. You are the others. You are this planet. Take another deep breath. Slowly now, bring the planet, the others, and all the light inside of you, inside of you. Yes, back in the center of yourself, back inside of you. From here, from here and now, the center of you. Come back with yourself, with your body. This meditation is recharging you and is preparing for the dreams of tonight. And when you feel ready, with your time, you can open your eyes again.